Alright, I finally got around to watching episode 8 of season 1 of the Clone Wars. Now, if you don't know, I'm doing a review of every single episode that's in the Clone Wars, starting with season 1, going all the way to season 7. As I believe Clone Wars is one of the GOAT animated series, I think there's almost nothing like it in media anymore. There's close things, but I think Star Wars The Clone Wars is the GOAT. Now, this one's gonna be a little bit of a quick review. This is like one of those filler episodes. It doesn't have too much other than the fact that showcases Darth Jar Jar in his natural habitat, showcasing that he is truly the mastermind behind the whole Clone Wars. No, but in seriousness, Jar Jar Binks just does some goofy things here. He just does Jar Jar Binks things. He's just always lucky, but we all know it's planned, as the true Sith Lord demands. But, Jar Jar gets away with a lot of luck in this episode, and it's basically about Padme going to meet an old friend. The old friend is on tough times and looks a lot like Greedo, who shot first, just saying. When it came to Han Solo, Greedo shot first, we all know this. But yeah, just saying. The whole premise of the episode is pretty much filler. It's just Padme goes to a planet, says, "Yo, what up, homie?" Daps him up, and then the homie who looks like Greedo is like, "Yo, so I sided with the Separatists," and then the Separatists show up and they make sure Padme gets imprisoned, and then Jar Jar decides to put on his Sith cloak, and then realizes he might be discovered, so he has to throw away the Sith cloak at some point. To hide in the water, so he pretends that he's stupid, as we all know Darth Jar Jar does. But once Mr. Binks finally makes his way to break Padme out, Padme's a Giga Chad, alpha female, and she decides to break herself out, but I guess media just doesn't have strong women in it, except for Padme Amidala, who broke free of her own chains, just saying. Just saying. And then her daughter breaks free of her own chains by literally killing Jabba the Hutt in the movies. Just saying. Right now there's a lot of narratives that there's no strong women in Star Wars, and Disney is the reason why there is now strong women in Star Wars. I think this episode can attest to, Padme being her own badass. Now, what I will say is that there's some really wonky, skeleton going on with, Padme in this episode. I don't know, her back it's hard to explain. It's literally like a bent back. It literally looks like a fucking looks like that, when she's against the wall, or I guess like the reverse of that. She looks like, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's really weird looking. This is literally like that. It's really jank looking, let's say, so I don't know if they were messing with skeletons or something for the animation and the rigging. I guess that would be, but Padme definitely looked a little off with her fucking spine, literally looking half caved in. Other than that, I mean, it's just filler. Animations weren't terrible. Beautiful water, I guess, and a cool slug monster that Jar Jar Binks uses the Force, as we all know, to summon the slug monster. But he had to play it off as, the slug monster just wants to be friends, of course. But, slug monster came. Slug monster did his thing, and then they captured Newt Gunray, which Gunray is, like, probably the most popular of his species, just because he's the guy who's pretty much everywhere. I believe he's the person who was at the table, or trying to get the Jedis, who came for negotiations back in, Phantom Menace, so that's where Newt Gunray comes from, and we get a little bit of a showcase of him in the early episodes of the Clone Wars, yeah, overall just a good filler episode, I guess. I wasn't like, this isn't like a 10 out of 10 episode by any means. I think this is probably 6 out of 10. As far as filler goes, probably like a 6 out of 10 as well. It's just, it's just an episode. We'll say 5 out of 10. It's watchable. It's fairly average. Nothing really eventful happens at all. And the cool part is probably the final 10 seconds when, Greedo draws the blaster on Gunray and is like, "JK, I was working with the Republic the whole time." That's pretty much the highlight of this episode. But other than that, there's nothing really crazy going on. Nothing wild going on. Just average filler. But yeah, I'm gonna continue making reviews. I'm doing this one as a standalone because it seems like the next couple episodes are gonna be cooking, in terms of plot. So I might as well just do one as just a standalone because it seems like we're going, out of the frying pan right back into the fryer, sort of situation. But yeah, with all that being said, if you made it to the end of this short review, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great day.